channel and to part 2 of the trouser construction. If you remember, in my last video I made the prototype for this, working off of a pattern that I already have in my collection. And assembly here is not all that different from what I did in the prototype, just sewing together the trousers as directed. I did do a little change here and added a cover to the back of the pockets because I did not have enough fabric to make pockets, like full pockets, out of the fashion fabric, because I only had just barely 2 meters of the fashion fabric available, and I was already struggling to cut the waistband out of the fashion fabric, and I did not line the waistband in the same fashion fabric as well, so that, I had to piece a little bit, but hey, piecing is period. I did use this fabric for the pockets, which is kind of matches the color of the herons on the well, not herons, but like cranes on the fashion fabric, which is nice. But I think the fabric might have been a little too floopy for the job, so it doesn't sit 100% correctly. But you live and you learn. I did understitch it correctly this time though, so yay for learning curves. Yeah, here just cutting the waistband out of some of the very little scrap fabric that I had left. I was struggling to get enough fabric out of this to make the actual waistband. Here's the lining for the waistband, which I took here. I took a I think it's a leftover corset fabric that I had. It's a bit stiffer than the fashion fabric. The fashion fabric is very light, very summery, and yeah, it needed a bit of structure in the waistband, especially in the front. I also cut from some even more, I think it's calico, an interlining for the waistband itself, like an additional third layer to the front of the waistband, just to give it. Yes, that is the calico layer. Just to give it a bit more stiffness. I didn't want to add any like stay situations or any boning. That's the word. I didn't really follow good assembly techniques here, to be entirely honest. But the box pleats in the front came out quite nicely. So I'm then just like pinning the pleat itself in place. Like I sort of started sewing them like darts and then sort of like pinned them into place retroactively, which worked. Might not be the correct way to do things, but it worked. And I'm not entirely sure what am I doing here? That's what happens when you do the voiceover months and months and months after the fact. Right, everything is sewn on the sides. I've ironed everything is where it's supposed to be, and I think at this stage it's probably wise to put in the zip, otherwise I might just make things unnecessarily complicated for myself, lol, because I'm not doing that anyway. So I'm just gonna mark the length here, and I'm then going to unpick all of the rather small, rather teeny tiny stitches that I've put in here a while ago. So I'm not gonna show you that, because who wants to see someone unpick something? I'm just gonna come back once I start putting this one in. Yeah, I went away and did something completely different. This is the waistband lining that I'm doing here. And I have to be honest, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here, because that is definitely the lining, and I've got the trousers inside out currently, so I'm not sure what I was doing. I think I might have initially attached the waistband the wrong way around to attach it. I did realize that though, so I have no memory of removing the waistband and then reattaching it. So, and here in the situation that I'm now putting in the zip, so you can see that I put the waistband lining in the correct way around. And yeah, zips. I honestly don't think zips are too terrible, although I do always make them feel much more terrible in my own head before I actually start sewing them. Like, once you've sort of got the scope on how to put in a zip, and I do recommend the Closet Historian. Bianca has just a great way of putting in her zips. It's super easy. But yeah, once you get your head around how to do it, it's a lot less troublesome in the future. Although I should probably be doing it more often to become really proficient at it. I really need to sew more. I've got so many projects planned, but there's just so much other stuff that's always coming up, and that's just, yeah, first world problems. Well, whatever you do, just line the zip up correctly with the seam you want to put it into. And yeah, that's the situation currently. No elastic yet in the back of the waistband. Some of you may know that I put up a poll on Instagram whether to completely undo the entire trousers and just redo the whole thing, or just put in a zip, and I kind of did half and half, because the original idea was to just have the waistband elasticated, but I did both. I put in a zip and elasticated the whole thing. What I originally did, and what I'm showing you here, is just elasticating a small section on the side of the waist with, yeah, that thing. Didn't turn out great. I ended up redoing it and putting in the elastic just from the side seam all the way back to the zipper, and then just attaching it next to the zip, because that just looks better. And that is the interlining, like the strength layer, structural layer for the waistband. I probably made my life a lot harder than what it would have needed to be with this one, as usual, because I didn't want to attach the strength layer with the waistband itself, or with the waistband interlining, or facing rather, because the fabric would have gotten very thick. So what I've done is I just cut out the interlining, the strength layer, and then just slipped it in and tried to catch it in place when I was sewing down the waistband on the inside, or rather I pinned it down on the inside, turned it around, and then stitched in the ditch. It works so far. It's not sort of scrinkled up or turned on me or gotten lost. So, fingers crossed. And yeah, here I'm just attaching those very short elastic pieces. Like I said, I initially attached them like this, and I'm very sorry I didn't record the revision process. So I attached them to just in front of the side seam of the waistband, and then stretched them 6 inches, 5 inches, something like that, backwards. no, not 5 inches. About 10 centimeters, which is, I don't know, inches or centimeters, it's nuts. About 10 centimeters back, and sewed them down to the inside of the waistband, to the facing. And then finished the whole thing off, and it bunched up really, really badly on the sides, and made the whole thing just look very inelegant. And yeah, I went back and took the whole thing out and made my life absolute misery in the process, because I didn't want to undo the entire waistband. So I just undid part of it, and once again, the contents of the video is, don't be me. Do it properly. Yeah, this is... After pinning in the elastics, I'm now pinning down the pockets so I can flip down the waistband and sew down the lining by stitching in the ditch. The pockets, like I said, with the yellow fabric, it's nice fabric, but it's very loosely woven. I think is the problem. It does buckle a little bit. It does need ironing. So yeah, lessons about fabric quality. But it serves its purpose. I mean, I think if the garment was sewn a bit more form-fitting, I would have a problem, because it would not sit nicely. But because the trousers are so loose and so incredibly comfortable, it's not actually that big of a problem. It's just something to be aware of once I've washed it, because look, this one needs ironing, no matter how I dry it, because the fabric is not an easy care one. I mean, again, first world problems. But yeah, it did come out really, really nicely. And then, although I did use on every step of this, I just used so many pins. I think I ended up at one stage, I used the entire pack of pins that I'm using in this one, plus an additional half a pack from another pin set that I have. Like, I was not having anything move around on me, because the fabric was... it's not flimsy is the wrong word, but it was very fine. It's a very moving, it's a very dynamic fabric. Not slippery, but just it likes to do its own thing. So that wasn't helping. But yeah, it came out all right in the end. So that's what counts, I guess. I did understitch the waistband as well. I just remembered. So yeah, that was actually a good thing to do. But yeah, this is the finished product, and I am very happy that I did take the time and convince myself to redo the waistband, because it just looks so much better with this, which is right there. You can see that it does bunch up, and all that bunching was on the side, and that just wasn't working. So yeah, just if something doesn't work for you, redo it, is all I can tell you. Yeah, super comfortable. It's not quite secret pants material, because I didn't quite have enough fabric, but I think it's a really good start, and I'll work on from there. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my flailing about once again, and I will hopefully try and do some more regular uploads in the future, especially in 2024. I've got some plans, I've got some stuff going on, but that's all I have for now. So wherever you are, have a lovely day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.